Okay, gentlemen, you are live.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Board of Commissioners meeting for October 5th. Will you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first thing on our agenda are the minutes. Do we have any additions or corrections?
No. Make a motion, we approve the minutes of September 28th, 2021.
And I'll second it. So it's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, September 28th, 2021. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next up is our planning. And with that, we have our Don and Sherry J.
Morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good. So first thing up is a public hearing, so Kim, will you
Correct.
go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Candelaria,
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay,
Here.
Commissioner Stevenson is absent, Administrator Powers,
Here.
Attorney McLaren,
Here.
and Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed single lot development in AR 3-9 rezoning application submitted by Leif and Crystal Hollingshead on property located at 15428 Road 30, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 39.50 acres, more or less, located east of Road 30, north of Road R, situated in Section 27, Township 37 North, Range 15 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Thursday, September 9, 2021 at 6 p.m. Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online services at https://co-montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated the 16th day of September 2021, Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado. Published in the Journal on Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021.
Okay, you want to give us your overview, Don?
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
So the Hollingsheads are basically just separating the house with 3 acres from the remaining property. Pretty simple.
Pretty straightforward. Everybody from the planning and zoning have any issues,
Everybody's happy.
concerns? Everybody's happy.
This is too
Took
simple.
them about 1 minute to look at it as well.
Easy
Yeah,
ones
it's
first.
pretty basic single lot development.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't, any questions, Commissioner?
No. Ready to
Okay.
proceed to public hearing?
Yep. All right. Well, then, if we have nothing else, then I will open this meeting up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this subdivision, please come forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you can address the board. Okay. Seeing none, I will close this public comment section of this hearing, and I will bring it back to the commission.
Well, being there's no opposition, I move we approve the single lot development and AR 3-9 rezoning application submitted by Leif and Crystal Hollingshead on property located at 15428 Road 30, Dolores.
And I'll second it. So it has been moved and seconded to accept the proposed single-lot development and AR 3 through 9 rezoning application submitted by Leif and Crystal Hollingshead on property located at 15428 Road 30, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 39.50 acres more or less. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
There you go.
Good to go.
Thank
Quick and
you.
easy. Thank you all. And we'll close that public hearing.
You can just put it in their office. Yeah, stick it sideways, one of their chairs would be fine.
You're not helping. So we do have a plat that needs signed on a previously approved subdivision with
Okay.
Susan Fry and
We have
Mark Rosenbaum.
5 minutes, so bring it
Well,
out. We'll sign it.
right slowly.
Did you,
I guess we can go. Okay, you good? We've got 3 more minutes. I'm going to go ahead and jump into our reports. Ian, I'll let you go ahead and start.
You know, I don't have anything substantial to add to since last week. Our civil cases remain awaiting orders and such. And so, yeah, I really don't have anything to update.
Okay, very good. I do have a question for you, Don. Of all of the letters that we have sent out, where do we stand with any of the responses back? Because I know that we gave them, typically it was 10 days to respond to us as far as compliance with the land use code.
Mm-hmm. There's only one that I sent out previously in April, down on Road 25. I had a return call from her, and I called her another half a dozen times and had no response, but Mel goes by there all the time, and he said they actually picked up some of the trash, stockpiled it, but they never hauled anything away. And they still have a couple of old trailers or mobiles on there. So I sent that information to Ian yesterday.
So then do we need to move forward with that? I mean, we had basically decided if we were going to try to get things compliant, that we needed to move forward with them. So
Yeah.
do we need to readdress that with another letter, or?
No, I think that the initial letter that Don sent is sufficient, and so I'll go ahead and move forward with filing a complaint similar to what we did with the other property. I mean, I think that we have to be consistent across the board, and so yeah, I'll get to that this week and get that in.
and I'm pretty sure Mr. Jarman as well as Mr. Sprague have sent letters to that property as well.
Okay. So we have formally pushed all our stuff through. Now we're just waiting for, well, actually, we don't have anything back as far as a meeting with them or anything. So-
Right.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, it is 9:10, and we have another public hearing. So, Kim, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Candelaria,
Here.
Commissioner Lindsey,
Here.
Commissioner Stevenson is absent, Administrator Powers,
Here.
Attorney McLaren,
Here.
and Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed amendment to the Pickens two-lot moderate subdivision and AR 3-9 rezoning application submitted by Terry and Larry Pickens on property located at 13848 Road 23, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 23 acres more or less, located south of Road P, east of Road 23, situated in Section 4, Township 36 North, Range 16 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, October 5th, 2021 at 9:10 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online service at https://co-montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated the 16th day of September 2021, Kim Purcell Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado. Published in the Journal on Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Don, would you go ahead and give us an overview?
Sure. This previously was a two-lot subdivision, and now the Pickens are splitting the west lot into 3 parcels, so it will become a 4-lot moderate. There's a 60-foot easement splitting lots 1A and 1B for access to Lot 2. Previously, there was an access to the south, but it was kind of not real clear, so that's being cleaned up, and now this new access easement's being created to just clear that up for all the lot owners.
Lot 1C already has an access because there's a house up there in the
Upper corner.
northwest corner.
Yeah, there's a mobile up there on the northwest corner.
Okay.
P&Z was unanimous in recommending it for approval, and no issues.
Okay. Commissioner?
I have no questions right now.
Okay. I have none at this time either. Would you like to speak? Anything you want to add?
I think it's pretty clear.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, at this time then, I will open this up for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this subdivision, please state your name and address for the record. Come forward to the podium and you have time to address the board. Okay, seeing none, I will close this public comment session and I will bring it back to the commission. Any other questions at all, or it meets all the requirements of the land use code?
Correct.
Okay.
That I move we approve the 2-lot moderate subdivision in AR 3-9 rezoning application submitted by Terry and Larry Pickens, property located at 13848 Road 23, Cortez.
And I will second it. So it has been moved and seconded to accept a proposed amendment to the Pickens 2-lot moderate subdivision and AR 3-9 rezoning application submitted by Terry and Larry Pickens on property located at 13848 Road 23, Cortez, Colorado. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
There you go.
there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I will close this public hearing. Do you have anything else for us to sign?
Nope, not currently.
Okay. Shaq, do you want to go ahead and get started on yours?
Yes, thank you. As the commissioners are aware, we've received the final MOU from the Attorney General's office regarding the opioid settlements that the multi-states have been litigating against Purdue and other pharmaceutical companies. And so they sent that MOU out this weekend. I've kept the commission up to date with this settlement in the MOU as it's gone through the various drafts with CCI and the Attorney General's office. And so now this is the final MOU that they've put out, and we would need to sign on to the agreement to have any money coming at all. And so by signing this, you do waive the right to have Ian go after these big pharmaceutical companies on his own.
You never said anything.
And you've looked this all over also, Ian?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
This has been a work in progress.
Yeah, I've looked at a couple different.
9 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been dealing with this?
Gavin's not.
And we're at a point to where I move we sign the MOU on the Colorado opioid settlement.
Okay, and I will second that. So it's been moved and seconded to accept and sign the Colorado opioid settlement memorandum of understanding with the, for August 26, 2021. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The other thing I have for the commissioners today is the payables report for August. Last week you did sign off on the social services part of this, and the check register is included in this.
Kim, you need to move over here.
You miss having those Blue Jay arms around to pass
I
things,
do.
don't
I
you?
miss that guy over there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things going on there, so.
Any questions about the payables, commissioners?
No. I move we sign the payables for August.
And seconded. So it's been moved and seconded to accept the payables for August in the amount of $4,955,175.79. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and then we have had 2 spots open on the Fair Board. We've advertised multiple times, and we now have 2 letters of interest. I didn't receive any comments back from the Fair Board when I sent these on, and so if we could approve 2 members to the Fair Board. We've got an Ajalyn Wilden, and we also have a Richard Zawistowski, I believe, if that's how you say that correct.
I think it's Zawitowski.
I was close.
Okay. But I could be butchering it too. You know. I move that we approve these 2 people to the Fair Board. How's that?
So I get to name them. Okay, great. And we have a school superintendent in here, so forgive me if I butcher these names. Anyway, I will second that. So it's been moved and seconded to accept 2 members to the Fair Board for the vacant positions by the names of Richard Zawitowski and Ajalyn Wyden. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I would say that unless I hear back from the Fair Board, that those should be 2-year positions, I believe.
Just check on it, because one could be 2 and the other one, they alternate, right?
We could leave that in your vote to the Fair
Fair
Board
Board.
to give them their terms.
Okay,
Okay, and I will let them know.
fair enough.
And then along the notes of the opioid settlement, there will be a meeting that I believe you will be attending with me tomorrow all day in Durango regarding the opioid settlement. Oh, no, you'll be gone. So the sheriff and the district attorney
I
will
won't
be.
leave, I don't leave until Thursday.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually here tomorrow.
Okay, so you will be there. All right. It's 9:20. You can do your thing now.
Okay. It is now 9:20, and we have another public hearing. So Kim, would you call the roll, please?
Just making sure I'm recording. Commissioner Candelaria,
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay.
Here.
Commissioner Stevenson is absent. Administrator Powers
Here.
and Attorney McLaren.
Here.
Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a special use permit application for the proposal of a solar photovoltaic PV project submitted by Fish Brothers Land and Cattle Company, agent Cortez Solar 3 LLC, on property located at 25506 Road F.6, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 39.70 acres, more or less, located south of Road G, east of Road 25, situated on Section 11, Township 35 North, Range 16, West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, October 5th, 2021 at 9:20 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online services at https://montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 565-2801 with questions. Dated the 16th day of September 2021, Kim Purcell Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado, published in the Journal on Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Don, would you go ahead and give us an overview?
Sure. Nathan Stotler's here with Cortez Solar 3.
Good morning. How are you? Good.
So Cortez Solar 3 is proposing, it's roughly a 20-acre section of the 40-acre parcel for is it 2 megawatt
Yes, sir.
photovoltaic system. The area is just, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, that's the Toyot Canal. P&Z was unanimous in recommending it for approval. The only condition is they had to meet an agreement with the Bureau of Rec for crossing the Bureau's easement accesses, and they have obtained that permission, that agreement from the Bureau of Rec. So that condition has been met. The only other item is the access issue, and I'll let Nathan explain. They were working with an easement agreement with the Carvers to come down 24.5, or what is it?
25.4.
Yeah, through Carver's property to access that, but I'll let Nathan elaborate on all of that.
Sure, so what we're proposing is to use, you can see it in the top right-hand corner. There's a road coming down from the north through the Carver's property that connects to Road G, about half a mile north. We're proposing to use that access to get to this parcel. We have an easement agreement in place with the Carvers right now, and we'll record that when we have a permit to work with. We've sent that out for review. We talked to a couple folks, talked to Don at Planning. We talked to the Road and Bridge Department and the GIS Department. The county would really like to have a dedicated right-of-way along that alignment sometime in the future. Not really a statutory obligation for us at this point. I believe Don and Jane talked to the county administrator about whether or not our easement for our project would prevent the county from getting a right-of-way in the future, and the answer was no. That we can do what we need to do, get an easement for access to this parcel, and that wouldn't prevent the county from aligning a future right-of-way there down the road. So we've also agreed to just reach out to the Carvers and ask them if they'd be willing to dedicate it at this time, just on behalf of the county, to see if they'd be up for that. Not really a problem for us to see, so it doesn't.
So what exists now, just a 30-foot easement? Is that
What we will have is a 30-foot easement with the Carvers that'll be dedicated to Cortez Solar 3.
so that's just for ingress and egress for Cortez Solar and nobody else?
Correct.
Is that Is that what we really want to do, Ian, or is it better to have the 60-foot right-of-way now? I mean,
Well, certainly ideally, we would like to see a 60-foot right-of-way for the county. There's no statutory obligation for Cortez Solar or anybody else to provide that at this point. It's certainly something that we can ask for, and it sounds like an inquiry is going to be made of the Carvers. I mean, I think in an ideal world, that's what we would get. But as far as easements go, I mean, we don't have any legal authority to say no, you can't do that, or you can do that. I mean, if that's what they're proposing, then that's what they're proposing, and we're fine to go with that.
okay. Question?
Yes, everything been run through Empire Electric?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So then my next question, is this part of the property that I was just talking about earlier? Is this part of the issues that we don't have any compliance up above, or is this down below or to the west? Or
This
where
is to the southeast of the main Fish Brothers land and cattle property. A secondary access could possibly go through their other parcel. There are issues with nuisance standards with the land use code with primarily the main Fish Brothers property, trash and other conditions that have existed there for several years and should be cleaned up.
So can you change the map, Shaq? Because I'm trying to figure out where this is actually at. I think it's to the south, right?
And so, Don, just to clarify, you said there's nuisance problems. Is that on this property that's being proposed for the solar farm, or is this?
Not on the parcel that's being proposed, but by the same owners, other property to the northwest.
Okay.
Northwest shack. No, go northwest.
Well, the other property is northwest.
There you go,
yeah.
click on that one. So there on the north end of that is a big issue of trash, old mobiles that are partially torn apart. That area is being cleaned up there on the top of the page, but to the north of that main property is the biggest issue. There's a big, I don't know, aluminum scrap pile being created, some kind of a scrap pile. Go north, shack.
And so what I would say as far as that goes, certainly that northmost property, if that is in violation of the land use code, then there's certain actions that we can take through the court system to try to bring that into compliance. As that applies to this project today, I think you need to look at this solar project independently, because ultimately it's a different parcel. This parcel's in compliance, and so what's going on the north parcels, that's stuff that we can deal with through our remedies that are available, court action or otherwise. But as for this south parcel, I don't think that we can necessarily hold what's going on the north parcel against these folks, because ultimately what's going on the north parcel is not affecting this solar project on the south parcel.
See if the public has anything to say.
Okay. At this point in time, I will then open this up for public comment. Anybody wishing to address the board, come to the podium, state your name and address, and address the board. Okay. Seeing none, I will close the public comment session of this public hearing, and I will bring it back to the commission.
I'd like to continue this for 2 weeks to get us on firmer ground, because I want to make sure that we're doing everything right, if you don't mind.
I don't have an issue with that. I guess my biggest concern, and I realize that we're looking at one section here, this lower section, but I would like some response to find out what's going on with these other pieces of property, which is all part of the same ownership. And I realize that we need to look at this independently, but I would agree with Commissioner Lindsay that we need to be on firmer ground before we move forward with this.
Is there something that I can do in the next 2 weeks to firm up our position when I come back down?
Well, we need a response from the owners of what they're doing with the properties to become in compliance with the land use code. My concern is what's going to keep this in compliance or non-compliance if it goes forward?
This particular property?
What assurance do we have to the people that this is going to be in compliance? Well, we can't even get a response. So if you can talk to the owners and find out what's going on, because obviously I just asked earlier if we've had any responses, and we don't have any responses back from the letters that were sent earlier.
As far as responses, you'd have to check with landfill and the health department.
Okay. Come forward if you want to come down and join the conversation. This, Mr. Fish, just drag up the chair there. Or that'll work too.
Mel, you might as well come on down too. And Mr. Englehart, you know something about the easements. Why don't we just have a party down here?
Ready for me?
Yeah,
I'm Glenn Fish, president of Farm Fish Brothers Land and Cattle Company. We had I don't know what you'd call it, a letter or summons concerning these two issues. I'm sorry, my voice is pretty bad this morning. Probably 2 months ago, we had a letter concerning these two issues that I've heard here this morning. I went and visited with Mel about it. The aluminum cans, there has been no aluminum can put there since I met with Mel. That was part of another project. We took over servicing Four Corners recycling bins about 3 years ago. The aluminum cans have always been a problem because they're in a 5-yard container. So just to make the whole project work, we've been bringing the aluminum to the farm and sorting the tin and the aluminum and taking it to belts. Well, that turned into this problem that we have. So since the notification from the county, every can that we have collected has went straight to belts. And we will clean that area up soon. It's just been during the farming season, it's hard to get that kind of stuff done. But that aluminum will be cleaned up immediately if it's necessary. As far as the mobile homes, the particular one that you're talking about, one of the family members brought it in there a few years ago, and then a divorce happened and some stuff happened, and they decided to tear it down there. And it just needs cleaned up. But we are not in the trailer tearing business. There's a problem in the county, I guess. There's no place for these single wide trailers to go. And what seems to be happening from my perspective, I would guess it's a $3,000 or $4,000 burden on anybody that has one. That's about what it costs to tear one down. So what has happened, people that can't afford anything else can get these trailers for nothing. They're a burden to whoever has them. And we discovered too late that you can get a mess of them on your farm and you got a big mess to deal with. And then we do have that mess to deal with, but it's stopped. There ain't gonna be no more. So correct me if I'm wrong, but we're talking about two specific issues in this situation, the trailer house.
I think I'm not sure we're talking about two different issues. I'm talking about compliance with the land use code in general. As far as compliance with the land use code, if you look at this picture right here, I mean, you can see that there are a lot of violations, and I'm not going to go into them. That's why
Okay.
we need, when we send the letters, we actually need a response from the owners to give us a plan of how you're going to take care of it and how you're going to come to compliance. And I think that's what we're asking for.
Oh, so do you think these
Giving-
compliances they're more in the septic department and that sort of thing?
I don't know if this is a health
what?
septic issue or not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's part of the nuisance standard within the land use code, and I think that we should be cleaned up or on firmer ground. And this is just me talking. You know, there's obviously one commissioner missing. But before we move forward, I think we need to get something at least established with the owners and the planning department to say, here's our plan, we're gonna have this put together, and it's gonna take us X amount of time. I mean,
And that would also include the solid waste department and public health.
correct. So it involves everybody so that we're on just a path to get it
Okay.
back into compliance
Okay.
before we move forward with this project. And
Okay.
really, as I'm asking for is communication to give us a plan so that we know how long this is going to take before we move forward with something else.
Okay. Well, I followed the directions on the letter that I got. I saw Mel within the time frame that was written on that letter.
Glenn did come see me in person. He was the only one that actually contacted me
So,
with an idea on how he was gonna clean up the deal. He was working with Belt Salvage to move a bin in there to clean up all the aluminum cans.
Okay, but we have more than just aluminum cans.
Correct.
This is way more than aluminum cans from what I'm seeing that's displayed here.
Correct.
So
And the
I guess-
aluminum cans, he hasn't added to it, but they are still there.
So,
the bigger issues, I have no idea how big they are. I guess we just need to know what they are.
okay, well then that's gonna involve an inspection from everybody within the county departments, public health, the landfill, and then we'll move forward with that as far as to identify those for you to show you what they are. I guess is that
We
what you're
can
asking?
probably set up, Glenn, we can probably set up a joint meeting Monday and we can go down there and take a look.
Okay.
Or Friday, I mean, not Monday.
This discussion kind of outgrew where I'm able to stand there and talk all of a sudden.
Sure.
But anything that's within the realm that we can deal with, we're certainly going to deal with it. So yes, I'd like to have that meeting.
Okay. Well, then, what I'll do is, Jack, you can set up a meeting, and we'll go ahead and, we'll continue this public hearing. Is 2 weeks enough time for you?
With no
Yeah,
more
are you
than-
asking if 2 weeks is enough time to have a meeting and discuss a plan, or are you asking if
To-
2 weeks
to
is
have-
enough time
no,
to
no,
bring
no,
it in
to have
compliance?
2 weeks to discuss a plan, get a plan ready so that you have a plan to present to us with the time frame. I'm not asking you in 2 weeks to get, no.
Yes,
That's what I'm asking. The
That's
plan and how to move forward and what's your time frame.
yes,
And that's enough?
that's enough time.
Okay. Well, then we'll continue this public hearing for 2 weeks.
The 19th.
So the 19th.
Yes,
At 9 a.m.?
sure.
Good enough?
Okay.
9 a.m.?
Motion to continue this until October the 19th at 9 a.m.
Okay, and I'll second it. So it's been moved and seconded to continue this public hearing to October 19th at 9 a.m. So anything that you can do to help or work with them to
Yeah.
develop a plan, I would suggest you guys communicate, and then that
So
way we can
I'll be in touch with somebody as far as a time and a place Monday?
just get with our administrator.
Yeah, I'll get with Mel and I'll have Mel reach out to you, because I
Whatever,
think he's
it
got
doesn't
the
matter to me. Just let me
Okay.
know. I'm good.
Sunday morning. Just kidding.
Doesn't matter to
I'm
me.
good. I'm
So-
good at any time.
No, it'll be Friday. And Rob, did you have anything you wanted to add about the DNR?
Just that some of these roads, these red roads down there have 60-foot easements established with the Bureau of Reclamation. I'm not saying this one does, but you might check. I've got into that on further south down around Road B and C and D, and it could have an easement already there, and the Bureau might want some input on this with their easement established. So just check that and make sure.
Okay. Because it shows it's an actual 25.7 road.
I know, and that's what got
And
my
that's-
attention. So I think Bureau probably has an easement to that canal. So, but it's theirs. It's not ours or theirs, or but it's between them and the landowners back in the day when they built that
Right.
canal. So.
Okay.
You done?
All right. Yep.
All right.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you, Glenn.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Actually, the Bureau's easement runs east and west across that parcel, not down 25/7, but that agreement's in place with the Bureau and they're happy, so. I don't know why that is a red sign numbered road. Might be a leftover from when it was on the county map in the 60s.
All
Right now, it's just Carver's Farm Road.
Sounds good. Well, do you have anything else for us?
No, sir.
Okay. Gosh. Well, then we'll move on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, next on our agenda is the public comment session, and the Board of County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Person speaking during the public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior providing your comments, and comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield their time. With that, the public comment session is open. And seeing none, I will close the public comment session of this meeting. We're going to move right straight on to a log cabin liquor license renewal. Jerry Frizzell.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Jerry.
And Kim. My name's Jerry Frizzell. I'm from the Montezuma County Clerk Recorders. I do the liquor license renewals. I have one for Log Cabin Liquor. That's located at 41900 Highway 160 in Mancos. As of yesterday, I had not received anything from the sheriff's office because they was having trouble with the state
Database.
to get on. But this morning, Heather from the sheriff's office did email me with the letter saying they've had no problem, and sheriff signed off on it saying that they have no complaints about log cabin.
Move we sign the retail liquor license renewal application for Log Cabin Liquors at 41900 Highway 160 in Mancos.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to accept the liquor license renewal for Log Cabin Liquors at 41900 Highway 160, Mancos, Colorado. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, we're going to go into some quick budget presentations right now. And first, we have Mr. Engelhardt, Road and Bridge.
Morning.
Morning.
Good
Ron.
morning.
Got it.
Want to start with your other materials?
I think we'll just go ahead and get the budget,
Okay,
if you're ready.
I'm getting it right now.
If you want me to go on, I can, well, you gotta show pictures, Steve.
Okay.
Okay, so yesterday, thank you for your time yesterday to do that workshop. That makes it easier today, I hope. So,
Yeah.
based on that, I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through item by item. If that's all right with you, I'm just going to present it as our budget was developed off of our 2020 revenues, and then we deducted our 36% from Kinder Morgan reduction this year to come up with a revenue of $6,309,528. Our expenditures budgeted for this year will be $6,309,528 on our line items. And this will include our wage increase that we discussed yesterday and our fringe benefit increases. And then I have to add in the $239,482 we set aside for the weed department for their budget. And that'll leave us with a budget this year of $6,549,010. And if all goes as we anticipate at the end of this year with our current records, we should have at the end of this year 3.6 million in reserves, plus or minus. So should be good.
Okay. Any questions?
No. Thank you, Rob.
You're welcome. So moving on from the budget then to our monthly work activities for October. Okay, in the blue, we're blading our Schedule A roads. That's been ongoing the last week and a half. We had a couple of days of rain up there that helped a lot, and then it had a couple more days of rain that kind of shut us down too. So it kind of worked in our favor. Both ways, we got some things done while we were down, but we're back to blading roads this week. And I don't see any reason why we won't be done at the end of this week the way it looks right now, if not early next week. So that'll be done. We'll have completed our Schedule A agreements with the Forest Service. Excuse me.
How many roads?
Oh,
miles
man,
of
Jimmy,
roads does
there's
that
a
really
lot of
take
roads.
in?
It's a lot of miles too. It's Barlow and it's all over the mountain. So I really never took the time to sit there and add it up, but it must be 40 or 50 miles of roads that we go do every year. So at least
And-
that much, I think.
Yeah.
So I'll have to do that. But that's an interesting question.
I mean, it's just.
It is.
I'm curious of how many roads we actually, and I realize it's only once a year with our agreements, but it's still a significant amount of roads.
It's a lot of roads, yeah. And you know, some years we work at them pretty hard. You know, they'll have a lot of downfall ruts. This year we're picking up where we left off last year and doing pretty well. But last year we spent a lot of time up there cleaning them up and fixing them. So anyway, it is a big job every year, and I'm glad and I'm very pleased with the crews to get up there every year and fulfill our obligation on that Schedule A. It keeps the roads in good shape and works. And we work with them too. They've got a nice blade. They do a good job blading roads, and so it's a joint effort by the Forest Service and us. So.
Good.
The orange, we're doing shoulder repair and cleanup on Road G down in McCalmo. We should finish that up this week. It was basically all the way down through there that over the last couple of years, all the ditches silted in. Then we had all them flash floods this year and filled all the ditches and the culverts. So we've been down there for a good 2 weeks with 2 backhoes and 2 full truck crews hauling that muck and stuff away from those drainages and out of them ditches and working on that. Should wrap that up this week. We are working on shouldering Road 29, Nancy and G, with the shoulder machine. That's the one we put together is working a lot better. We had a clutch issue out on it, so we're working on that getting fixed, and then back to business on that next week. And then we're going to change that culvert on Road 20. We decided that we hit a spot up there that's very wet and soggy, and we don't want to build a road on top of that, so we're going to use the current footprint that we know works and extend the culvert. So we're going to have to close that road for about 8 days to dig that culvert out and replace it and using the same footprint we had. Basically, we may widen it out a little bit, and then we'll get a survey in there to do an as-built and get it corrected for our easement alignment there. So that starts next week right after the holiday. So that's the big work for the month of October.
Okay.
Any questions on the schedule?
Just make sure we have notice signs out there for everybody. so that-
Good. Yeah, we've done that. We've contacted the schools and the buses, and we've got our electric signboards up now advertising it, and we'll get with Vicki and make sure it gets put out there on the public stuff.
Just as many places as we can get out there, so.
And we are in a good spot there too. It's north to S or south to P, and nobody lives right in that section. They can go either way. It's easy access. So it's one of our better roads to be able to close. So,
Okay.
And then I want to visit with you about a broom. I got some pictures.
You can get those pretty cheap at Walmart.
Yeah, but the labor to push it gets expensive, so we're going to upgrade it here just a little bit. So this is a picture of a current broom that we have that's, it died. It's had it. It's done. We're going to put this on a public auction and just as is. Hopefully we can get somebody that'll pay to get it out of there. So, so that's a picture of the broom. What we are doing is went out and we got some information on some brooms that are out there as used brooms. Like this is a 2017. It sells for $39.5. The hours on it are about 522 hours. Next example is 939 hours. It's a 2017, 29.5. There's a third broom. It's a 2016 with about 1,600 hours for 25,000. Well, we've been renting a broom from Rod out there at Dove Creek when he helps us with our chip seal. And so this broom here, the last picture, Shaq. Yeah. We've been paying some rent on that last year and then again this year, and he offered to sell us this broom, and it has 526 hours on it. It's the same model. It's a good broom. It's dependable. We know the machine for $23,000, and the rent will be part of that additional. So the machine will actually sell for $30,000, but we only have 2 months of rent on it anyway. So he took the rent off, and will sell it to us for $23,000 if I can get your approval on that. And that'll get us back to having our 2 brooms that we use so much when we're chip sealing. We have another broom of our own, and then by this one, that'll give us our 2 brooms we need.
So being under 50,000, it does not require a sealed bid. Over 15,000 does require 3 quotes, and he's got those.
So it complies with the procurement policy?
It does.
I don't have a problem with it.
I don't either. 526 hours, and how many of those did we put on it?
Well, we put probably 80 on it last year, another 80 this year, so a third of them,
A third?
a fourth
Yeah.
maybe, yeah. So he's got 2 brooms, and he doesn't need 2 of them anymore. Rod's happy with getting rid of one of them, and we've been using this one. We like it, and we know it, so we know the condition of it. So
Okay. I have no issues with that.
No. Need a motion? Move we approve the purchase of the broom for Road and Bridge at $23,000.
thank you.
Okay, and I'll second it. So it's been, leave that picture up there. Yeah, thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve model number DT80CT for a Superior broom for the Road and Bridge Department in the amount of $23,000. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then one final thing before I leave this morning is McCamel slip. We are getting nearer and closer to a designed engineer resolve that issue situation thing. I'm not positive it'll go this way, but I'm pretty comfortable thinking that what we're going to end up doing is putting a bunch of big rocks down in the bottom of the slip, embanking in it close to the creek, and then building a compacted fill above it, and probably step it up, build a bench, and then come on up to the road. Some materials may have to come out of our McCamel pit as a pit run. They want weight that will drain a little better, so we may have to, the crusher is scheduled to go down there the next couple of weeks and make them a product that'll work as a filter material, yet hold it, and pit run, and then we can probably use some of the local soils in that area, we're hoping, without getting into bringing them in from unknown places. That's something close and easy. It's been a long process trying to determine that this will work, and I'm glad we went to SEH for engineering. It's that critical that you just don't make a mistake on this and not have it back it up with some good engineering. So
The water is stopped now, though.
the
correct?
water has actually we got our reading last night, and the water in the wells actually started going down again. But they've been running water in that ditch since this began, and they shut it off last week Saturday. But that didn't make the water go down. So we're convinced now we have a water flow underneath us. It's a natural spring. It's a spring probably that's manageable, and we're not contributing no more with the canal, because the canal did not make it go up, and that was the good news. I mean, we monitored it all summer through the irrigation. The water is shut off now, and the wells dropped slightly, but not because of the canal, because of the rain and the vents we've been having and then the springs. So we know now that we are a lot better off than we were without the pipe, and we know now that we are still going to have to address some natural water under this slip area in a form of drainage through the design of the backfill and the compaction. So And that meeting will be Thursday. The engineers are meeting with us Thursday to give us their final, what they think we can do there, and we'll go from there. Then it'll take 45 days of Corps of Engineer 404 permitting to work in that area around the water, or up to 44 days. But we have people to help us with that lined up, and we'll have to go back to the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe and present our plans to them and let them know what we're up to. Because we had till December this year to come up with a plan 2 or phase 2 here. So I think we're right on schedule with that. A little later in the year, I'd like to do the construction, but you know, we'll just have to work on it this winter, or if it's stable, we might wait till spring. We'll see what's going on down there. So.
And I think John Baxter was working on some things that the chairman of the tribal council didn't like. I'm not sure, Ian, if John briefed you on that, but particularly it was something to do with the fact that the Road G easement through tribal territory is in perpetuity, and he doesn't like that word. And I mean, you can't set an end date where we rip the road out either, so good luck.
I don't,
Good way to put it.
yeah, but I don't think that there was, it's already an agreement that's a perpetual agreement. It doesn't, I mean, why would we ever,
Yeah,
I mean, that's a main thoroughfare between Utah and Colorado.
I don't know the details on it, but yeah, I don't see any reason to amend the
Well,
agreement as it is
where we
currently.
left that was the attorneys were working on it, Peter Ortega and John. So, I don't know
And
where that is.
they let us do phase 1 because it was an emergency, but there were, I'm not going to say there were threats, but there was some strong language indicating they were going to block phase 2 unless we worked with them on
They
this
would like
issue.
an answer to that, what's the word? Perpetual?
Perpetuity?
Perpetuity?
perpetual.
That perpetual
Perpetual
easement,
easement, yeah.
yeah. They would like that,
Perpetuity?
they would like that answered, yeah, before we start on phase 2. So Ian, you might have something you better get with John on, see where it's at.
Yeah, I'll get with John and get
How
with
long has the
Peter.
road been there?
Oh, I don't know, the first wagon, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a road, it's established, and it's not gonna go away. I don't,
Yeah, and there's a lot of other issues there too. And in the tribe's defense, that land wasn't theirs in the beginning. It was actually traded for in the 40s. So at some point there was a land swap, and they picked up this piece of land that this slide is sitting in. But you know, Manuel has a point too. It's something he wants to get cleaned up in the verbiage, and so the 2 attorneys were working on it. Yeah. So.
okay. All right.
And then the bridge, I guess we are moving forward to the bridge. We got the mowing done, so the little New Mexico mice can't nest as easily around the bridge, so we can start this spring. We got the trees removed, and we've got the rock exposed to drill and shoot this winter if we don't have rattlesnake issues. So we're getting through all the environmental issues one step at a time, and I think hopefully if all goes well, we'll be able to do that this winter and be ready to put the job out for bid early this spring and build a bridge next year. So there we go.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Have you looked into any of those greenhouse gas emission standards for CDOT's new rules that we're gonna have to comply with?
No, I have not. Be honest with you, I haven't.
If you get a chance, look at those, because
Okay.
the comment, I mean, there's public comment going on right now, but it's gonna affect us eventually
Mm-hmm.
into something. I'd like to kind of get your thoughts
Sure.
and ideas on that.
Okay.
Because to comply with Senate Bill 260 that was just passed, CDOT's gonna, the metric tons of reduction is gonna come into play, and I wonder how it's gonna affect us as a county.
Yep. Oh, I will look at those. Okay.
All right.
I guess
Very
we'll
good.
see you tomorrow, huh? 10:30?
10:30.
Okay.
So I will, actually, I forgot about that, Shaq, but I do have that demonstration that we have to do with Dolores tomorrow, so I'll just have to catch up with you all.
Just
in
meet us
Durango
over in Durango, no
after the
problem.
fact.
Okay. I don't know that I want to probably hold things up by being there, but I will have you a truck there, so.
Have me a truck and a driver sitting on 11th Street at 10:30.
Or I
I'll be
might
there
park
with
the truck and you drive it or whatever, but
Whatever.
I'll
Doesn't
make it
matter.
happen for you, so.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, next we have the noxious weed department. Bonnie.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so as far as the proposed 2022 budget, I have the spreadsheet from 2018 to 2021, and then our proposed budget. The permanent salaries increased $3,900 in my 2022 proposal. Russian olive salaries increased $31,000. Part of that is because one of my guys, I'm moving to a 12-month period instead of just a 10-month. He requested that because it's just so hard to pay for health insurance for that 2 months and get on unemployment. So I feel like I can cover that through grants. I'm not worried about that, but the big thing is to get them up to a salary that is
Competitive with McDonald's?
competitive with McDonald's, a salary that they deserve for what they're doing, and they can actually make a living off of that. So our overtime salaries, the overtime allowance, I reduced that by $500. Fringe benefits increased about $12,000. Cost share program, 2021 budget out of the county was $25,000, and I'm reducing that to $20,000. So we're going to be saving $5,000 on there. It says $35,000 on my proposed budget because $10,000 will be from a grant. Fuel, I'm increasing from $4,000 to $4,750. Insurance and bonds went up $500. Enforcement went up $1,500, but take into account that this will be partially reimbursed. So if I have to hire a contractor to spray an enforcement property, we will pay them directly, and then we'll wait for the landowner to pay us back. So that's how that works on the enforcement. Dues, meetings, and travel, I increased that by $3,000 because I want to send a couple guys to an excavator certification training in Albuquerque. Chemicals, I increased that by $5,000 to try to get more pre-emergent out there. And so overall, my budget increased $76,927. However, $41,000 of that is increased with grant revenue. So overall, the county budget will be increased by $35,927. Does that make sense?
Bonnie, can you give us a briefing on the WaterSmart grant that you are applying for?
I'm applying for several grants, and I'll do a better presentation of what all I'm applying for. I figured today you guys are going to be busy, but one of those was a WaterSmart grant through the Bureau of Reclamation. I'm applying for a 3-year period for the Phreatophyte program. I think I'm applying for, I'd have to remember, I think it's $50,000 a year is what I'm asking for.
And that would offset a second Phreatophyte crew and potentially another excavator?
Correct. I'm asking for funds to purchase 2 mulcher's heads so we can have one as a backup, to purchase another excavator so I can have 2 crews running. But I am applying for multiple other grants, so we'll see. I'll do a presentation next time I come up with all the grants that I'm applying for.
So I did send the commissioners the information on that grant, and I know you do need a letter of support from that, so I have that letter of support ready if the
Totally
commissioners
forgot about
want
that.
it.
Thank you.
I'm here to help.
Move we sign the letter of support for the Environmental Water Resources Project, WaterSmart.
And I'll second it. And so it's been moved and seconded to send the letter of support or sign the letter of support and send to the Bureau of Rec for the WaterSmart Environmental Water Resource Project and Planning Office. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you have any idea of what kind of water that you are going to save in the next 1 or 3 years if this grant, if we actually get it, what are you gonna, what do you think you'll save by getting rid of these
I think right now we're at what, 745 acre feet of water saved. And I did do the calculations that I put into this grants narrative. I'd have to look at it.
So
I
that
can't remember.
745 acre feet is based on the initial 3 years with lessons learned. I think it's not unrealistic to expect another 800.
To double that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so right now we have a waiting list for our properties that spans out a year. That's why we're trying to vamp up the program and get more crew members so we can get work done a little faster. But we are increasing our efficiency, increasing trees removed, and yeah, the water savings is just going to increase
So you
with
think
our
you'll get
efficiency.
800 acre feet?
Definitely,
in those
yes.
3 years?
Yes.
And for most people that don't know, in an acre feet of water, there's about, what, 350,000 gallons?
I'd
in
have
an
to
acre
look
foot
at
of
it.
water? So it's a pretty substantial amount of water that we are saving.
Hey Siri, how many gallons of water are in an acre foot?
He's questioning me.
Is your name Siri?
Hey Siri, how many gallons of water are in an acre foot?
Well, there's 7.5 gallons in a cubic foot, correct?
Here's some information.
Times 43,500.
325,851 gallons of water in an acre foot.
And so with this land, when we're removing the non-native pharatophytes, we're not going in and putting native pharatophytes like willows. We're going to put in grasses and forbs and then some cottonwoods. So nothing that's going to consume as much water as the salt cedars and the Russian olives. And then as far as the water savings, the water is going to be saved for irrigation going down the canal, but it's also being saved because it's going to be spread out into the rangeland that's adjacent to this land, producing more grasses that'll benefit grazing and wildlife species.
And so the conversion on that is roughly 260 million gallons in 3 years.
Okay, very good. It's a lot of water.
Yep,
We need to capture every bit of it we can. and
definitely. Okay, well, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bonnie. Okay, Mel. And then Mel's going to use some of that water to make his composting.
Which will in turn help the soil better use
which is
water.
better soil health. Okay,
So the proposed budget for next year,
Oops, wrong one.
yeah. We expect a gross revenue of approximately 1.3 million. And then with the purchase of the BOMAG and the other expenses, we'll show a loss of $445,000, but that's based on starting with zero income, money in the bank, which we all know we already have enough money to cover the BOMAG. That includes the pay increases for the crew, for all 9 people, including the part-time person.
did you get a hold of BOMAG?
I did.
Are
I
they-
sent a text this morning, and he will be preparing the paperwork. And as soon as I get that, I'll be bringing it up to you.
And so we had discussed that in a meeting where there was no official motion, and at some point, we'll need to pay a bill and have that in the minutes, so.
I think that as soon as you get the paperwork,
Right.
bring that forward. I think we've already discussed it. We know we're going to go down that path
Roger
of
that.
the BOMAG instead of the Caterpillar. So once you get that, I think it was 541,000 or whatever you
Correct,
stated
plus the
yesterday.
freight. Yeah.
Plus the freight. That way we have a total number that then we can approve. So if you'll have that in a couple weeks, just.
I'm assuming he'll probably have it by the end of the week, but I don't know. But as soon as I get it, I will
We
let you
could
know.
fit that into our next regular meeting somewhere.
Sure.
Yeah, I can just include it in my report next week.
Okay. So if you have that paperwork, because you said it would take 90 to 120 days,
That was the estimated delivery time, 90 to 120.
so it would have it springtime.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if you had any questions on the proposed budget after we went through it yesterday. The August budget checks got up there. We brought in 173,000 for the month of August. And had 123,000 in bills, so we cleared 49,584, and we're up about 250,000 ahead of what I thought we would be for the year, and that's mainly due to the increased volume of trash that we're receiving. Like I said, we're just busy all the time.
How are you doing on your recyclables? Paper, plastic?
All the commodities have gone up. Cardboard, they're paying very well for. They're calling for it. We're baling it. We're shipping out 2 to 3 trucks a month on cardboard. Vicky's going to be down tomorrow to start filming some of that for the video. But yeah, it's in high demand right now, cardboard is. So we're getting it out as fast as we can bale it.
Are you seeing any recovery in the 1s and 2s?
Not a whole lot. Like I said, everything has gone up. But it takes us almost a year to get a load of plastics.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have a load of plastics, and I'm waiting on a truck now for it. So
Good. And that the ones is that the clear bottles? And
So number 1s, you can look at the bottom of any plastic container and it'll tell you, but number 1s are like your water bottles, soda bottles. Number 2 naturals are like your milk jugs, and number 2 colored would be like your laundry jugs, oil jugs, that type of thing.
And the biggest problem with recycling is the contamination that we get. That's why we have a person that sorts it. And anything that is brought into us that has to be sorted, we charge for it because we have to pay that person to stand there and sort all that out. And we get a good price for our product because we do sort it out. It's clean. They don't have to resort it at the factories. So we tend to make a little bit more than some of the other people that don't.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
Appreciate it, Mel.
You bet.
Thank you, Mel. I'll see you tomorrow or Thursday.
Thursday morning, right?
Thursday morning.
Okay.
Okay, Justin with the fairgrounds.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Morning.
sir.
Good.
What do you have on tap this month for us?
Oh, not quite as much as last month. September was busy. We'll start with the budget real quick though, and then I'll get into that. So just to kind of highlight that again from yesterday, our expected revenue for 2022 would be $60,000. As far as the rest of our budget, we're looking at increase in salaries to make those fair and competitive, and then just a little bit of bump to our operating expenses just to kind of keep up with uprising costs. So we got a total of $321,072.80 for our total budget for 2022. So if you got any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay.
How is it looking filling the calendar for 2022?
I think we're good. I think some of these smaller events that we had this year, such as the amount of barrel races and maybe team ropings, will probably be down just because our neighbors are opening up now and they were kind of closed these last 2 years. As far as our big events, we're good. But I think we're going to be similar to this year, maybe just a little bit less, but I think we'll be similar.
Do you have any idea of what else you're going to attract?
As far as new things from this year, I don't think we really pull in anything new. I know we've had a couple little events, kind of like there's a guy in Durango that does expedition or backcountry expedition, and he has these big bikes that he does. He came in and did a little training deal, but those aren't real big public events. I think we'll have a few of those where it's more private events. As far as the big public ones, I think we're just going to kind of be the same as we were this year, as far as that goes. So that's bringing money into the community on those big public ones. The private ones are more or less, smaller. They're not bringing a big revenue source into the county, just to us, so.
Is anybody, do you know, in the area, any kind of outdoor shows? I mean, you know, camping, fishing, hunting, stuff like that? Are they blending them into the other?
Yeah, I mean, we have the gun show, obviously, you know, Ag Expo.
Right.
I don't know if there's any of those that we even have in the surrounding areas. You know, I might look into that and kind of see if we do. But to my knowledge, no, I do not know.
Sounds like a good idea. One of our audience members ought to just go ahead and start one.
Okay.
All right, well, bringing on to our normal item for attendance of the fairgrounds to date, 68,901 people. Our income to date, 70,184.99. Like I said, September, we had a lot going on in September. So September 9th started with a little canning workshop that CSU and the health department put on in our kitchen, which was good. September 11th was a commodity giveaway. The 15th to the 18th, we had for pet's sake yard sale out there in the beef barn. Huge yard sale. I know I did see Commissioner Stevenson out there for that, but that was a big 4-day sale. That was just huge. Then the 16th was a canning workshop from CSU and the health department again.
Ice cream.
The volume was on because I asked Siri a question earlier.
September 17th and 18th was a 2-day car race that went good. The 18th of September, we had a True Western Roundup rodeo out there that also went good. The 21st and 22nd, CDOT came in and did a little rodeo in our parking lot with their heavy equipment. Also, the 21st of September was that Backcountry Expeditions bike training I just mentioned a little bit ago, which is a guy out of Durango that's kind of doing they call them big bikes, which are like 1100 cc bikes that they use for trail riding. So he kind of trains people how to ride those, and he uses the arena because it's nice and sandy, and then uses the parking lot a little bit because it's gravel. So it gives them different environments to train in.
1100 cc bike?
1100.
That's a
it's a good sized bike. Yeah. They're ones that you look at and they're like kind of on-road, off-road capable. So they use them for trail riding, and they got like saddlebags on them and everything, all their gear. So they're pretty good sized bikes. The 24th and through the 26th of September, we had a 3-day car race that also went good. That was the last one of the year. Also that same weekend, we had a 3-day barrel race. That went really good. The 30th of September was a food drying workshop from CSU and the health department in our kitchen again, and they got a couple more workshops coming up this next month. October 2nd, commodity giveaway, also went good. October 2nd and 3rd, we had a horse clinic. Then we had that benefit dinner for Kylie Pontine, which went good. They had a benefit barrel racing dinner that night for her. October 3rd was the Fellowship of Christian Athletes Fields of Faith event just this last Sunday, and it went good. Coming up this month so far, we do have another 2 workshops by CSU and the health department on the 7th and 21st. And actually, I believe they changed that 7th to the 19th on me, so that one will be adjusted. And then October 9th, which is this weekend, the True Western Roundup Rodeo is going to do an all-women's rodeo to benefit breast cancer awareness. Is what they do with that one. And then also October 23rd to the 24th is another 2-day barrel race. We are looking at getting our winter practices back on. They're going to start doing roping practices on Monday and Friday sometime this month, probably about the middle. And then I just heard from the Pony Club yesterday that they might start beginning the last week of October for their weekly practices on Wednesdays. Other than that, that's all I got.
Very good.
Thank
Was
you,
that
Justin.
FCA, is that for just the colleges around here?
FCA
Is that
is,
typically colleges, right?
that's a fellowship group of Christian athletes.
Right.
Um,
I know what
I
it
don't
is.
think it's just strictly college. I think it's kind of anybody, youth and or
Yeah.
adult.
I didn't know, I thought it was just strictly, I thought it was just college.
I know there's a chapter at Dolores High School that's been really active in the past several years. I don't know about the other schools, but
Good deal.
All right.
Okay, all right, thank
Any
you,
other
Justin.
questions?
So now we have, you're good.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Thanks, Justin.
Yep.
Three amigos.
It would actually be amigas.
Amigas?
So now we have our local governments, our assessor, our treasurer, and our clerk, our elected officials. Ladies, would you like to step forward and present your presentations?
And while you're asking for money, I'd like to thank the treasurer and the assessor for bringing the money in.
Well, I would like to thank the clerk for also giving
Yeah.
us our license plates and our
And
Ability
your
to drive
elected
to work.
positions.
marriage
the money.
licenses and all the other things that they do also.
Ladies, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, go ahead. Leslie, you can go first and followed by Ellen and Kim.
Just don't show any notes, Jack. Well, after yesterday presenting line item by line item, the only thing that increased in the assessor's budget for this year is the payroll off of the proposed adjustment that was given to us and the fringe benefits. Other than that, for this year, the postage went down the $10,000 since it's not a reval year, and that puts my budget at $542,115 for proposed for 2022.
Okay,
Pretty simple. Everything stayed the same.
very simple.
And Leslie, how many positions do you currently need to fill?
2 for sure. I'd like to do 3. I'm down 2, but I do need to get a deputy, so I have someone second in command if I'm gone.
So all of those of you out there listening, fill out an application.
And that's for the appraiser, right?
I have,
Talking
well,
about that
my,
yesterday, one for the appraiser and,
my front desk receptionist is gone now too, and appraiser. So unfortunately, I've had the job posted for over a week and I have 1 application. So I don't know how that's gonna go.
you could walk down the stairs and go recruiting.
I could, but I like these girls, so.
All right, forget that.
So that's all I have, unless you
Okay.
guys have any questions.
Thank you.
I think we asked them all yesterday.
Yep.
You've all made it through the first round, and now we'll get ready to start looking at what we can and can't do.
Mhm.
We haven't
Okay,
thrown anybody out yet.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
We just
joke.
haven't thrown anybody out yet, so.
No, not yet.
all right, Ellen, you're next.
I'm next. Okay. Am I up?
We're getting there. You want to start with trustee or treasurer?
Treasurer's fine. It doesn't matter, whichever one. Okay. So the salaries, we did make some adjustments there, and I did put that part-time person in that we've really been trying to fill that for a while, but we haven't yet. And then with COVID, we didn't, and so that still may be, I keep putting it in there as I may do this, but I haven't yet. But it really may be necessary to do. I'm just waiting until it is necessary. So that's there as a maybe. Fringe benefits, that stayed, I put it about the same because I was a little high last year. And my costs will increase. I know that with the journal and the advertising fees, that's definitely going to, and possibly the postage, I have that a little high, but again, they always warn me that there may be increases that they're not aware of. So I try to give a little extra there, and then travel budget. So I went up a little bit, but that is mostly for all those other reasons. Any questions about that budget? And the public trustee budget is very straightforward, nothing really changed there. Actually, nothing at all, so it's very basic. Salaries, there's only one, that's required by statute, the operating, and we don't bill out anything else, so that's it.
Your tax lien sale.
Tax lien sale is November 5th, online again this year, except this year they're charging us, so it's $10 per parcel that you purchase, which, because we have to actually pay the company this year, they did it for us free last year, which was really good. And we are seeing some interest in that. We had the sheriff distraining mobile homes yesterday, which is where he goes out and puts the orange sign on and says, pay these, so that's going well. Sort of. And
I saw that stack of orange signs in his vehicle. He stopped.
oh, I thought you saw one on your house.
No.
Yeah, you don't want to see that.
When he stopped you for
I
what?
saw one in his vehicle.
When he
while we
stopped
were
you for
going
what?
to lunch.
Oh.
Wow. Kim, I think you need to walk downstairs.
Our bad, we put one on your house, sorry.
Oops, wrong house. We can blame the
Oh,
sheriff.
man.
It's the sheriff's fault.
So yeah, that's all been going good, and we don't know about foreclosures yet. We've had our first inquiry. We keep expecting this flood that's going to come, but so far, well, maybe not. Maybe everybody kept their bills paid during COVID, hopefully.
Maybe
So,
not. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yep. Move Mr. Microphone.
Okay. Very good.
So as far as our budget, we went, first of all, did want to thank you guys for the opportunity to talk about the salaries. I think that was just a really wise, and I'm grateful for that opportunity to talk to you guys about it. I did do the recommended salaries, as we all did. And then, of course, being with elections, more elections this year would increase my elections budget. So I'm at, unless you guys have questions, I'm at 1,210,243.12 is what my proposed budget is. But that includes $360,000 of the digitization project.
And that's it's in its last year, right?
Yes, this should be the last year.
And then we have everything digitized up to current day, and it's going to be a lot easier for research for anybody.
Exactly, it should be. We actually have a hard drive right now of everything. It's just not where the public can access it. At this point, they still have to come into us to get that digitized record. But when we get done with this, everybody will have access to that one.
Good.
And you have new voting equipment being set up right now.
We do.
And you
Training is
received
today.
training's today.
Training is today.
So you can set up record and walk away from the Board of Health meeting today?
Okay, cool.
I would think. I would need to ask the commission on that.
Yeah,
but-
that's fine. I don't, if you have training over there, probably better take care of that.
I have a very capable election supervisor. She said that she could probably teach me, or they could stay late, but I would love the opportunity to be over there this afternoon.
And then with that election equipment, you scan everything in, it verifies the signature.
No. No, it scans the signature.
It scans the
The
signature.
election
You
judges will
verify
do
the
the
signature.
verification of those signatures.
And as the ballots are scanned, everything's done electronically, but you never connect to the internet. You do the verification of the count, save it to a flash drive, and then you send to Denver.
For the election results?
Correct. So you're not connected to anything that could be hacked at all during the election.
We are not.
Okay.
We are not.
Okay. Thank you, ladies.
Appreciate it.
Okay, jump into unfinished business. Shaq, what do you have for us as far as unfinished? I don't have anything in mind now.
We did interviews last week for a maintenance director position, and the commissioners need to make a decision on that today. I don't know if you're ready to make a decision on that now, or if you would like to wait until Commissioner Stevenson's here. Either way is
I
fine
think we
with me.
need to wait for Commissioner Stevenson. That needs to be.
That's all I've got under unfinished business, so we can do that after Board of Health or just before, either way.
Sure, yeah, because he'll be back for the Board of Health meeting. So why don't we just push that underneath there, and then we can make that decision after Commissioner Stevenson gets back in.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, Mr. Dietrich.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I think I'll go ahead and start off. Why don't we go ahead and start off with my budget presentation? That's probably the easiest thing here. As we talked about, I think I've got probably the smallest budget in the county. What I'm proposing is to leave everything within my operational realm exactly the same as I've had it last year. Seems like that's always been sufficient. I've never really spent my entire budget out. I tried to maintain a little bit for reduced training and travel. We occasionally want to attend an oil and gas conference. We've occasionally asked for some outside help with some of our grazing issues and things of that nature. So having just a little bit there to work with is very helpful. The main increases is in the permanent salary and the fringe benefits, which we went over yesterday. Other than that, my budget remains the same as it was. I think we'll go on now to the Fox Den salvage sale. And this is a proposed salvage sale for lumber that exists within an existing Forest Service timber sale. These were the leaf trees, essentially. What they had was a severe wind event that happened about a year ago that blew down a bunch of the leaf trees. And so those trees are impeding the overall project's performance. And so the Forest Service would like to remove those trees. They think that there is a commercial value to those trees, and they do feel like they could get some bidders in on it. So that is their proposal, is to remove those downed trees. It's on 167 acres. It's not a large project. They'll use existing roads, so everything's pretty much, all the infrastructure is in place to help them move those trees off. Since it does have a commercial value, albeit pretty small, I felt like the county should probably support that. And so that is the first letter that we have.
I'll move that we support the 1950/2400 Fox Den salvage proposal.
And I'll second it. So it's been moved and seconded to sign the letter of support and send to the San Juan National Forest Dolores Ranger District for the 1950/2400 Fox Den salvage proposal. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the next item I have will be regarding CPW motorized trail grants. So every year, the Forest Service and the BLM come to the county asking for support, a letter of support to advance their trail objectives. So what they do is they enter into the competitive trail process, just like the county does regarding grants. And they've this year they've submitted a grant to CPW to help them do some work on 3 particular projects on public lands. The first one is the Box Canyon Trail Project. The district proposes to hire the Southwest Conservation Corps crew for 8 weeks of work in the Box Canyon Trail located east of the West Mancos Road. That's Road 561. The trail is a popular motorized route that ties into several other motorized paths, such as the Aspen OHV Loop, the West Mancos, and the Chicken Creek trails. Many other Forest Service roads and single-track motorized routes also connect to it. The work will include brush removal, stabilizing drainage crossings, signage, in tread and drainage repair and the installation of new drainage structures. The second item is the Dozer 23 project. They've been continuing to work with the dozers here every year since about 2009, I believe. This year, the dozer crew completed heavy maintenance work on a variety of trails and completed the final reroute and maintenance of the East Fork Trail. U.S. Forest Service is requesting funds that will pay the salaries of the returning dozer operator and swamper. The crew this year will focus on heavy maintenance of motorized trail system using that heavy equipment. Then finally, the Good Management Trail Crew 19. This is a trail crew that the Forest Service annually hires. The district has staffed this trail crew who works on motorized trails using funds from the Motorized Trail Program. They're pretty much the core of the trail program for the Forest Service, and they focus on about 220 plus miles of motorized routes across the district. So we typically support this grant request, and we don't have to do this today. We have until November to get this completed, but I wanted to make sure the commissioners had the letter in front of them. If it looks straightforward enough to sign, we can do that. Otherwise, we can wait until a later date to actually sign it.
I don't think I have any issues with
No,
this either.
I move we sign the letter of support for the CPW Motorized Trail Grant.
And I'll second it. So it's been moved and seconded to sign the letter of support sent to the San Juan National Forest Dolores Ranger District for the CPW Motorized Trail Grant. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jack, could you roll to the bottom of that, please? There's a statement at the bottom of this I think bears putting out there. Montezuma County supports trails of all kinds. We are pleased to support work specifically focused on motorized trail improvements with this grant proposal. The proposed improvements will help to maintain a sustainable system of trails long into the future. I think that's a good sentence, or a good paragraph.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, James.
So I'll move on here. I did want to catch the commissioners up a little bit on some of the work that's going on at the Paz de Mesa Verde Trail. We did meet with the Federal Highways Administration a couple weeks ago. We went out. This was on a Tuesday, which is why I wasn't present. But we did walk the entire length of the trail from Mancos from Mesa Verde into Mancos. That was the direction we went. And so we evaluated every structure that was along the edge of the road. We evaluated all the drainage, culverts, everything we could possibly take a look at through there. I felt pretty good. Federal Highways Administration kind of understands where we're at in terms of finances on this and what we're trying to accomplish. So they're looking to work with CDOT to see if we can't find ways of increasing matching funds that come through regular highway maintenance. The example that they gave was cleaning out each one of those culverts. So most of those culverts, we found some that were completely silted in. So each one of those culverts, they're estimating may cost about $1,000 to clean out. So there's roughly about 50 of those along that route, so that's $50,000 worth of work that if CDOT was able to do the work in conjunction with the trail project, then that's an additional fund that we can actually match to our trail. So it would be essentially $50,000 that we could match against the local requirement on that. So I think they've got the right attitude, they've got the right perspective on what we're trying to accomplish. So I had a really good, productive meeting and a whole day with them out there. We do have one section that's near the junction of Highway 160 and the Business 160 going into Mancos there. It'll be on the south side of the road. The trail's routed to go through there, and it is just exceptionally steep. It's nearly a 1-to-1 slope through there. We do feel like contacting the landowners adjacent to the right-of-way to see if they might be willing to negotiate some right-of-way for us. It wouldn't take a whole lot, but just to get us around that corner would be really helpful. I don't think it's possible to build that without encroaching into that right-of-way anyway. It's just so steep and tight through there. The other advantage is that, we're probably looking at a retaining wall that's probably 15 to 20 feet tall. So that is a very expensive retaining wall. So if we can get that trail back down to kind of a grade that we can just work with, that would be a far superior move. And I think even if we do have to purchase some right away there, it's probably going to be cheaper to do that than it is to build that retaining wall. So. We got some other issues with CDOT regarding some of the wetlands. So there's wetlands on both sides of the road on the way into Mancos. What we've kind of talked about doing is maybe just trying to pinch the trail down, going from a 10-foot to a 5-foot in sections, so the trail will undulate a little bit. But that way, hopefully, we can avoid some of the wetland issues on that. Then the final issue that we've got is right-of-way, and CDOT right-of-way specialist feels like we need to work with a certified CDOT negotiator to negotiate right-of-way from, like, for example, State Land Board, the BLM, National Park Service. I did some outreach calls to each one of those agencies to ask whether or not this is kind of standard, and none of them responded that this was standard. I think that we probably do not need a right-of-way specialist for this. We've never talked about a transfer or ownership of right-of-way anyway. It's likely to be an agreement. If not an agreement, then probably an easement or something of that nature. So I think we've got a way through. CDOT's really good at coming up with these questions that we really do need to address, and they kind of scare the pants off of us half the time, but usually coming out the other end, things work out pretty well. So we'll continue to work on this. Then the last item that I've got is Black Resources State Well 3611. We've talked about this before. That's the well that's up there north of Dolores. It exists on U.S. Forest Service surface ownership. The mineral estate belongs to State Land Board. So their State Land Board's obviously interested in this since they would get royalties off of it. So it sounds like that Black Resources was successful in keeping that well from being plugged and abandoned. However, they're still trying to figure out how they can get their resource to a place that'll take it. We've got a map here that shows two potential routes that they've identified. The route in the blue is a pretty extensive route, but they do have a tap that seems like they're willing to work with them, and that would be the Koski Harvest Midstream tap. They say they will take local gas. The other alternative route is the red dashed line, which is probably a preferable route. It actually only runs about 3 miles, and apparently there's a tap somewhere east of Dolores there, once you get it down to the bottom of the valley. I think the hang-up has been, so far, it sounds like it's Atmos Energy that's running that, and they do not seem to have any interest in taking local product. I don't know what the reason is behind that, and I don't know how we can really help with that. I guess we could, contact Atmos Energy and just ask them, hey, is this true that you won't take local produce? And if not, is there any way we could talk you into, possibly taking that? So that would be the one possible thing we could do to help. The Forest Service has thrown up some roadblocks also. Basically, what Black Resources has is an easement to co-locate pipeline on that power transmission line, and that's what that red line indicates there. However, that doesn't translate into a Forest Service permit. So the Forest Service is basically saying that that Black Resources needs to have everything, all their agreements in place with any private landowners, with Atmos Energy, everyone like that, before that they will consider moving forward on the permits. They also say that the permit, since they don't hold any of the mineral resources, it's going to be a pretty low priority for them. That is one area that we could probably help out a little bit. If Black Resources got all the other agreements in place, we could probably put a little pressure on the Forest Service to encourage them to move this forward. But I think a lot of this really kind of comes down to what Black Resources can actually accomplish. I will continue to work with them to see if there's any other ideas we can come up with. It does appear to probably be a pretty high producing well. The owner seems to think that it may produce as much as 4 million cubic feet per day. That's at an upper end, and I couldn't I can't translate what the value of that production is to the county. All I can tell you at this point is the state land board's current royalty rate is 1/5. So for them, that would be a pretty significant piece of production there. So, and I would think that for the county, if we're looking at 4 million cubic feet, that would be pretty significant for us too.
That blue line really isn't, is that achievable?
Well, it sure looks to me like that would be a mountain to, awful lot of private land through there. There is a pipeline through there, apparently, and it may be possible that they could locate, co-locate on something up there. But I don't have a lot of data on other existing infrastructure in that area. It would take some research to figure that out.
How long is that?
Honestly, I don't know. It's certainly more than 3 miles.
Yeah,
I'm going to guess that's probably more like 10 miles or something.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
About 15 miles.
it's a long way.
Okay, yeah, it's a long ways, yeah. Plus, we've got the river crossing there. We've got, there's some, in my mind anyway, there's some issues with that particular route. And I think that's why they would prefer to look at the route over on the right, which is that red.
There's a river crossing and some
much
canal
shorter.
crossings through there.
Yeah, I think there are.
Yeah.
Yes. So now if they run it down that WAPA power line, I think they can get it down to the river valley. And I don't know which side of the river valley their main gas line is, but I think it's on the north. And that's where they indicate that there's possibly a tap that they can get into. And again, I don't know what more we can really do other than, because it really is kind of a negotiation between two private individuals or entities anyway. And we could potentially, just to try to encourage Atmos Energy to take local produced gas. Apparently the gas is suitable for transport, and it's suitable to put right in the line. And apparently they don't have to compress it either. So so there's some advantages
There
there.
must be pretty good head pressure up there.
Yeah, apparently so, yeah. All we can really do at this point, in my opinion, is really kind of, encourage, Black Resources to go ahead and try to pursue their project, see if they can't negotiate with Atmos Energy. I'd be happy to write a letter to Atmos if it comes to that. But I'll bring that back to the board and maybe we can consider that later. But I did want to let you all know about this in case anybody has any, epiphanies over the next couple of weeks that, maybe there's some way we can help. So it certainly is a value to the county. I know we're trying to transition away from these type of resources, but on the other hand, natural gas is one of those transitional fuels. And I don't know what the county's gas consumption use is, but this is something that we could argue could actually contribute directly to the county's use of that resource also. Once you get it in the line, I think you can divvy that stuff up however you see fit. And actually, I kind of fibbed just a little bit. I do have one more item. I just wanted to catch you up. So I wanted to let the commissioners know we're still working on those grazing allotments out there on the monument. It sounds like within the BLM they're making some pretty good progress at trying to find a reasonable compromise between protecting cultural resources out there and still allowing some of the grazing to continue. I think that's really a good sign. It seems like the BLM is really kind of pulling for this. They realize that it's a part of the proclamation. They don't want to go against the proclamation, but it's also kind of a delicate balance with them and the SHPO also, which is they wield a lot of power. And so they're, of course, kind of dancing a tight line with them. However, they do feel like they're making some progress on it, and they are planning a field trip. And so they're anticipating these two actions should happen within the next couple of months. That would be a concurrence from SHPO as well as the field trip. So hopefully we get the field trip set up before before December, and we're out there standing around freezing. You're looking at a frozen plant sticking out of the ground or something. So anyway, that concludes my report for the day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, James.
Okay. Kim, I will
Okay.
get with you on those letters.
Chuck, we'll go back to you. And do you have anything else, or did you finish?
No, Chairman, I concluded my report.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Lindsay.
Not too much going on. Went to a city council meeting where I listened to some guy drone on about something, I don't know, in the work session. Actually, it was Shaq and Rachel.
This guy.
But they presented very well. They did. And other than that, they left, and I looked at the agenda, and there wasn't much going on. So I booked out, went home, went to bed.
I would like to say I took a bath last week just because I had that.
Yeah, they noticed. But they did just some standard stuff, engineering services for the airport. They didn't have any draft resolutions. City managers gave a little report. I watched it a little bit later, so how I can do this, and I'm looking from their agenda. Did some planning stuff with a plat out on Fairway Estates, and had a presentation on the 3rd Street Park, and they were out of there pretty early.
Very good.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Phone calls and emails and questions, but
All right. Mine started with a long meeting over at the Region 9 board meeting in Durango. It was still in person, which is very good. I know a lot of things are getting ready to change. It seems like with counts going up, everybody's becoming extremely cautious again. However, my meeting going to Denver this week will be also in person, so pretty excited about that. Took care of business at the Region 9 board meeting. Had a great weekend. Took a color ride with my wife. Stopped in Telluride. Talked to a commissioner up there. Discussed a few things on the NCA. And continue on. We had our local government coordination breakfast yesterday with Dolores, Pickens, and Cortez, which went very well, and then our next one is scheduled for December. And then we went into our workshop, which we had detailed presentations of all of the budgets that you just briefly heard today. And lastly, at the Dolores meeting, I wanted to talk to you, Ian, again. Did you reach out to John Kelly on the
I did leave a message for John, and then he called me back, and so we've been playing phone tag. But
on basically the liability that, or I don't know if that's the right term, but what we carry out at Fieldswold, and if we could carry that on to that trail that goes from V.6 or V.2 up to that boggy trailhead, because now it's going to cross private property instead of staying in the county's right of way.
Probably good to include Bentley in that conversation.
Okay. So anyway, I was just following up with you on that. And that actually concludes my report.
Commissioner, your talk about the Region 9 board meeting did spur one other thought that I needed to bring up, and that is our economic development team has been nominated for the Economic Development Community of the Year Award, which will be presented later this month in Steamboat. No way of knowing if we're going to win, but apparently somebody did nominate us. So I want to give a shout out to everybody on our economic development team for keeping everything open during these critical times and trying to do more to build on that.
Yep. Thank you guys, to all of you that have been working so hard and diligently on that. And with that, that concludes my report, and we will reconvene at 1:30 for our Board of Health. So this meeting, we do need to adjourn.
no, we're going to recess.
No, because we're
Oh, yeah,
reconvening at the
okay,
Board of
we're going to
Health.
recess. Motion to adjourn.
Okay, and I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the normal business meeting of the Board of County Commissioners for October 5th, 2021. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.